Today's class is very important to our life. As mentioned, it's going to be transformational. Today's course is going to be a transformational to our life today. Apart from we welcome everyone to learn together with us to understand and to understand. This is the first lesson for the year, and many of us have not attended the class for a long time. Please indicate your name on the screen so that we can get to know one another better. Similarly to this class, at the end of the lesson, we will have time for Q&A. And if you have any questions regarding the class today, please leave a message in the chat box. Leave your question in the chat box. We will invite the master to answer your questions. Similarly, today's class will be in Mandarin, simultaneous translation in English, and Bahasa Indonesia. We welcome all Indonesian fellow disciples. This year, it is a year of learning for the true Buddha School University. So we have to diligently. So this is a year of learning for the True Buddha School Online University. And we hope that we will make progress in our learning this year. So for this reason, we have especially created a WhatsApp chat group starting from this course. We have actually Chinese WhatsApp chat group and a separate Indonesian chat group. In total, these two chat groups have about 1,000 members. So it's fantastic to see everyone wanting to learn more. So you can actually log into the TBS OU website now with your email and password. And past lessons are also in there. See that more and more students are joining. We are going to start the class at 8 p.m. as usual. Similarly, if you would like to take exams, you have to register as a student. So we have a new website right now, and it's much easier to log in to the TBS OU website. Once you have chosen your course, you are able to download the course material. And once you're registered as a student, you can take exams as well. But if you are joining this class just for the purpose of learning, we welcome you as well. For this year, we've also included learning materials in English. As long as you log into the website, you can download the learning materials. Please indicate your student number on the screen, and if you can, please do turn on your video. As mentioned, the lesson will be in Mandarin and with simultaneous translation in English and Indonesia.
你自己所需的译文。那今天呢，我们也很高兴，得到印尼的翻译员美丽助教
We have from the
帮
Indonesian
忙，还有英
channel
语研
um,
发译者
Dharma,
助教的帮
Dharma
忙。
instructor Mei Li, who is doing the Indonesia interpretation, and myself, uh, Lotus Ija, who is doing the English
那
translation.
再次提醒大家，
A
我们
gentle
这个
reminder to everyone
关于这一堂课呢，我们开设
for this
2个
course,
这个
we have
WhatsApp 的
established
群组，
two WhatsApp
不知道你已
chat
经加
group.
入了内吗？
Have you
其
joined?
中一组是印尼文，
One
另外一
of
组是
the chat
华
group
文，
is for our
那
Indonesian
也掺英文在里面。所以大
disciples,
家这个群组的用户呢，
and
就主要
for
是针
the other
对
WhatsApp
今年
chat
我们
group
大学
are
这
for
个
both
学
our
习
Mandarin
资
and
源
English
的。
speaking
这个网络群组
fellow
呢，它主要的
disciples.
用意就是让大
The
家
main
上课
purpose
后
of this
能
WhatsApp
有一个
chat group
交流，
is
写下我们学习
for
心得
one
的分享。
another to interact
请
with
大
one
家多多
another
的
and
参与这个
also to
群组。
share your learning insights
如
after
果你还没
class.
加入的话呢，多多留意
Do
我
join
们
us
这个线
if you
上
have not done so.
所公布的这个连接。
I'll be sharing this on the
离我们上课时间呢还有一个
I'll be
5分钟。
sharing the WhatsApp
如果您是刚刚上线的
chat
话呢，请
link
务必把您的这
on
个
the chat.
法号或者学号给换上。好，我们也看到美娥助教把这个群组的连接发在留言区了，非常简单，只要您点去，
So Jamba System has already
就可
shared
以参
the
加里面的这
WhatsApp
个
link
互
for
相
you
交
to
流，
join the chat group.
也包括了印尼文的群组。这2个群组呢，如果您在上课的期间有什么疑问的话，大家也可以在群组
If
内
you
留下你
have
的问题。
questions,
今天我们
you
在
can
课程
also
的
leave
后
them
半段
on
是一个
either
互
chat
动间呢，
groups.
也会恭请上师
We
回
will
答大
also
家
have a
第一次
Q&A session
尤其是
after
跟
class
这一堂课
where
有关的问题。
Master
大家也
LianFei
可
will
以事
answer your
先把这
questions.
个问题写在
You
这个
can
留言
post
区，
your questions in
我们
advance
辅导员会
in the
帮助
chat,
您收集和
and
这个提问，
our counselors
也包括了大
will
家可以
pick up
直
those
接开麦
questions to be
来
answered.
询问，
Or you
也
could
包
also
括了
turn
你
your
的提
mic
问，我
and
们
post
也
your
会有辅
questions.
导这个培训助教来帮忙大家做这个翻译，希望大家多多把握机会。目前离我们的上课时间呢还有一个3分钟，大家准备好了笔了吗？所谓心到、耳到，还有手到。那只要你用手写、用心学，这个知识呢，将会永远埋藏在我们的深层意识内。这个只能够是能够带走的，尤其是在我们未来，这堂课非常重要，就关系到我们未来要怎么去一个我们这个师尊的这个摩诃庄严智也好，或者
This class is this course is very important because it
往生更
affects
好的境界。那这
how we
堂
could
课呢，真的
how we
是
could
非常的重
could
要。
be reborn to a better place.
那这堂课呢，我们也邀请到了3位资深的导师，
For
尤其
this
是在
course, we
文法
have
是有
three
相当
very
有经验的3位
we
导
have
师
very three
为我们授
experienced
课，
teacher, and for
当中也
today's
包括了
class,
今天为我们授课的
we
品格
have
上师，
Master
还有
LianFei,
圆月上师，还有大家
Master
熟悉
Lian
的五自
Yue,
在师兄，
and
大家都
also
在
Dhamma
线上。
Brother Wu Zizai.
大家的无师把这个生活中所有的经验，在这堂课里面
They
都
will
是
be
为大家
selflessly
这
sharing
个和大家
their
分享。
knowledge and experiences to
好，
everyone
我们还有1分
here.
钟，我
We are 1 minute away from class.
此时大家准备好纸和笔了吗？
Is
如
everyone
果
prepared?
请大家也准备好笔这个把自己的这个法号给换上。那尤其是在我们课程的后端呢，课程要结束前呢，会有一个质疑解惑的环节。如果您有任何的疑问的话，可以直接开麦来提问，或者把问题写在这个留言区。今天呢，我们同样是3个平台同时进行的，当中包括了目前的 Zoom、YouTube 还有 Facebook。如果在 Facebook 或者 YouTube 的同门您有疑问的话，也可以在该
And
平台
similarly, those who on
写下您的这个
Facebook
问题。
and
我们的辅
YouTube,
导
you
员呢
can
会
leave
把它
your
移调到这个 Zoom
questions
的现场。
in the respective chat.
好的，我们的开课时间到了，准
It's
点
time for class.
准
It's
时
8
8点开
p.m.
课。再次欢迎大家出席
Welcome
华文大
everyone
学所举办的第5门课
to
程
this class, the fifth
生命
course
礼仪。
organized by the
在
True
开课
Buddha
前呢，
School
首
Lana
先我
University,
们先整
Etiquette of
课程
Life. Before we start
对
class,
于
let's
中国传
pay
传承，
homage to the True Buddha School
因为根
lineage.
本传承上是连生活
Let's pay
佛，
homage to the living Buddha
生活
Lian
中历代传承祖师，
past lineage guru of the True
虚
Buddha
空中
School,
诸佛菩萨，
or Buddhas,
也就是家
Bodhisattvas
学弟子众等，学习一切
in
吉
the,
祥言
in the
论。
void.
请大家手接莲花筒子手印，
May we
持
be
诵着
blessed
七星咒、短咒7片，
for this cause.
此咒
Let's
Om Guru
recite the
Lin
heart
San
mantra of the
Siddhi Hum,
Padma Kumara.
Om Guru
Om
Lin
Guru
San
Lin Shan
Siddhi Hum,
Siddhi Hum.
Om Guru
Om
Lin
Guru
San
Lin Shan
Siddhi Hum,
Siddhi Hum.
Om Guru
Om
Lin
Guru
San
Lin Shan
Siddhi Hum,
Siddhi Hum.
Om Guru
Om
Lin
Guru
San
Lin Shan
Siddhi Hum,
Siddhi Hum.
Om
Om
Guru Lin San
Shan
Siddhi Hum,
Siddhi.
Om Guru Lin San Siddhi Hum。阿弥陀佛，大家
Amitabha
吉
everyone.
祥，欢迎大
Auspicious
家
greetings to everyone.
参加生活中
Welcome
网络大学第5门
um,
课程
to
生
this
命礼
to
仪。
the fifth
我
course
们
of
再
this
次欢
class,
迎
the
线
Ethical of
上的
Life.
授课导师连飞
We'd
老
like to
师，
welcome the
会长
instructor
莲花
for
等觉
this
上师，
lesson,
教育处处长
Master
会上师，
LianFei,
文
True
宣
Buddha
处处长
Foundation
文
Chairman
业上
Master
师，
Chen
公
Chu,
关处处长文业上
Education
师，
Director
各
Master
位
Lin
上师、教授
He,
师、导师、
Publicity
讲师、助教
Director Master
，Zoom、
Lin Yue,
YouTube、Facebook
PR
同
Director
门，
Master Lin
大
Xia,
家阿弥陀佛。
all
那今
masters
天
or
为我
senior
们准备
reverends,
了
all reverends,
人生非
DIs,
常重要的课
Dhamma
程，
Dhamma
相
assistant,
信
and
每一个人
everyone
都
on
有
Zoom,
这个
YouTube, and
经验，
Facebook.
高度成
We
就
know that
人生
everyone,
第
all
5
sentient
这四
beings
个阶段。
in the world will
这一堂的
experience
生命礼
birth,
仪讲
old
的是
age,
我们生
sickness,
命
and
中
death.
不同的
So,
阶段
for this
所
course,
举行
ethical
的
of life
礼仪
basically
与习
means
俗。比如
refers
说仪式
to
方面有订
the
婚、
rituals and
结婚、
customs that are being
火
held
炉
during
登
different
场、
stages of
抽签、
one's life.
开箱、
For
开业等
example,
等仪式。
for
白事方面呢，
what we
则
call
是
Hongshu
死亡的认
auspicious
知、
events
临终
that would
者、
include
死亡的家属、
things like
亡者家属、
weddings,
助念团队
um,
和安葬仪式等等
C-section,
的认识。
move
那
or
今天
opening
的
the
课程
business. And
向
in
你
terms of immersive
非
is
常非常的丰富。
events,
那
we need
开
to
课
have an
前呢，
understanding
首
of
先我
death,
们恭喜
towards death,
教
not
育
only
处处
for
长
the
连花等
dying,
上
but
师，
also
为我
for
们
the
解说
family of the
开课
deceased,
欢迎词。
how
恭
to
喜
do
莲花师，
assistive
阿弥陀佛。
chanting and be aware of burial,
阿弥陀
rituals, etc.
佛，
We invite Master Linha
大家
to do
好。
an open stage.
我们今天的
Amitabha
课
everyone,
程，各位上
Master
师、
Chenju, all
教授师、
masters,
法师、讲
senior
师、助
reverends,
教，
reverends,
中华
Dharma
大学
instructor,
的
Dharma
所有同学
assistants,
们，大家
and all
好，大家龙
students.
年吉祥。还有我们的授课导师莲飞上师好。
Auspicious year of the dragon.
欢迎大家一起开启我们龙年的学习。现在呢是西雅图时
Let's
间
start again learning
7
on
点多
the year of the dragon. This is 4
感觉
a.m.
今
in
天呢是
Seattle.
一个非常
I
喜
feel
庆
that
的日子，
today is a
不仅是
very
因为我们的虚拟课程
celebratory
线
event.
上大学， 更是因为呢，今天
event.
是我们中华网络大
Not
学
only because
第
today
5
it's the
门课
first,
生命礼仪课的开
it's
课。
because it's
那
just
么
the
非常
first
感谢
lesson
莲
for the
飞
fifth
上
course of
师、
TBSOU.
莲月上师
Thank
还
you
有
to
助教
Master
法
Lianfei,
师
Master
给我
Lin
们
Yue,
授课，
and
他们
Dharma
都是
Brother
经
Mo
验非
Zizai.
常
They
丰
are
富的，
very
能够听我们
experienced
红白事
with
实
extensive
际上的
knowledge
经验的老
on
师， 所
on
以非常期待。
auspicious on managing
那么今天
auspicious
呢，
events and memorial
由
service
我来授
events.
课的
And
主
today
事部分的莲
we
飞
will be
上
talking
师。
about auspicious
那么大家知道吗？莲
仪式
飞
or
上
rite
师呢，
events.
他主持
Do you know that LianFei Sangshi has actually conducted has actually solemnized 2,000 over marriage blessings rituals.
此处可以有掌声啊，真的是不可思议啊。那么大家在这门课中呢，也会学到真佛密法。
During this class, you also learn how the true Buddha Tantra is integrated into our world and how it connected with the local community. And what is surprising is for this class, the number of people who sign up for this class is about 800. That is actually broken a record. We've established two WhatsApp chat group. One is for what is in Mandarin, the other is in Bahasa Indonesia. The purpose of this chat group is to allow one another to interact with one another, to learn from one another, and also to share learning insights after lessons. What your takeaways and what has right
这个呢，就是我们这门课新的打卡方式。
So this is the new way of doing our homework, starting from this course. What are your takeaways? What have you learned? So this is a new way of doing things for the Year of the Dragon. I would like to wish everyone auspicious Year of the Dragon and progress in your cultivation. Amitabha. Thank you, Master Lin.
那边应该是目前是4点多，哇，真的顶口上
Yes,
市
here
了。
too it's 4 a.m.
他的价值和祝福给我们，谢谢联合上师。
Master, thank you, Master Lin.
好，现在到了万众期待的这个环节。
So
今天呢，我们非
this is
常
what
荣
we're
幸邀
looking
请到
forward
了
to. We are
佛学
very
院的
fortunate
智
to
慧上师为我们讲
have
解印
Master
度
LianFei,
文
who
字
is
记
very
别
with
生
very
命理论之
extensive
弘法
knowledge
主论。
to talk
前进
about
呢
the
是
first
呢
class
目
overview
前
of
是印尼真佛宗密教总协
auspicious
会
events and memorial service
的主
events.
席，同时也是
He
中国
is
驻达处的调查长。
Master LianFei
今天
is
呢
the chairman
是
of
呢
Sangha
在
Assembly of the
本
Indonesia
正
True
义
Buddha
有这个丰富的
Tantric
经验，也是
Association.
时
He's
代
also
主
the
政网络。
supervisory
刚才联合上
investigator
师
of
也
the
说
True
了，
Buddha
联会上师
Foundation.
已经委
So
培
Master
超
Lian
过
He mentioned just now that
2000
Master
次，
LianFei
多
has
2000对的这个道理文做的
bestowed
扶正。
has actually
那我和大
solemnized
家分享
more
以下这个
than
扶正时常用
some
笔记
marriage
愿以法
solemnization
水
and
因
bestow
地
wedding
生法
blessings
令
upon
同结道理心
2,000
共
Buddhist
振生
disciples.
法。
And
哇，
there's a
非
scene
常
he
震撼
always,
的一
there is
个
a verse that he always
实
says
践，得
when
到真
he
佛密法正法
conduct
门，真的是
wedding
无比幸
blessings
福。
ritual.
那所谓
Say,
今
may this
天佛
Dharma
法是
water
实践
purify
法，
one's
那
body,
从
speech, and
不正呢
and
能够
guiding your
让我们的
hearts
家
as a pair of
佛
Dharma
法化，也
companions
能够让我们的
together
下
to
一代
witness and
能
realize
够
the
很
path of
知
the
佛
true
菩
Buddha.
萨
So,
结根言，让我们的后
we
代
ended.
孩子们在未来
So
的
the
人生
principle
中
that
有一个很
the
好
Buddha
的
Dharma
点
is not
名
separated
联系。
from
好，我
from
们
worldly
话不多
affairs,
说，我们以
and
热烈的掌声
wedding
恭
blessing
请
rituals can
联
actually
会上
transform a
师
family
为
to
我们
become
授
one
课。
that encompasses the Buddha
大家也可
Dharma.
以在留言区把
And
发
it
问
also
到
allows the
潘
future
老师。 阿弥
generation to
陀
stay
佛。
connected with our lineage guru masters and foster a positive starting point and auspicious conditions
好，我们
for
大
our
家
children in the
是
future. So
平
without
常
further
法师，
ado, let's start
我们
class. Let's
尊
put
敬
our
无上尊贵
let's
法
put our
王，我
hands
们大
together.
根本传承上师孙
In
中
homage
莲
to our
师
root
傅，
lineage guru living
礼敬
lineage
顶礼真佛宗历代传承祖师，
or past lineage gurus of the True Buddha school,
虚空法界诸佛菩萨诸尊，
or Buddhas,
谢谢大
Bodhisattvas,
将光临加
Mahasabhas
持，
in the
授课
void.
吉祥圆满。
And please read it light to bless the class.
唵咕噜连声谢帝吽。
Guru Lian Shan City Home.
尊敬的中委会会长莲花城主上
The
师，
Honorable True Buddha
尊敬
Foundation
的教育
Chairman
处
Master
处
Lin,
长联合上师，
Master Chen Shu,
宣传处处
Education
长
Director
爷爷上
Master
师，
Lian He,
公关处处
Publicity
长
Director
李安
Master
上
Li
师，
Yue, PR Director Master Lian Jia,
受师
All masters, senior reverends, reverends, Dharma instructor, Dharma sisters, and all fellow disciples, and also Dharma brother Wu Zizai, all chapter representatives, all fellow disciples online. An auspicious greeting to you on the year of in the year of the dragon. I would like to thank Master LianFei for this arrangement for 2024, the year of the dragon. And we all know that Master LianFei is at Seattle right now. At the time, that is 4 a.m. So, well, it's tough. Want to thank Dharma Instructor Itai for helping with all the back-end work. D.I. Itai, I've known him for more than 10 years. He's a very excellent demo instructor. And as far as I know, he has very good understanding of geometry, feng shui. I'd like to thank all the interpreters, Dharma assistant Ija, and Dharma instructors Mei Li, Amitabha. Let's start the class. The first class of 2024. We will start with section 1, which is overview of auspicious events and memorial service events in Article of Life. Today we'll talk about auspicious events. So auspicious events covers quite broad. The events are quite broad. So whether it's auspicious events or memorial service events, we'll meet with a lot of people who are not disciples and people from all different levels, all different background. So in Buddha School, we are unified.
却是万般不易的，所以呢，要谈到这个生命礼仪，
when we talk about the etiquette of life, when we talk about auspicious events and memorial service events, it's really interesting.
我们接下去
let's continue.
这个生命礼仪的定义，
What is the definition of etiquette of life? I think D.I. Itai has mentioned, for mankind living in this world, one will go through the cycle of birth, old age, sickness, and death. So this is rooted everyone will encounter. And etiquette of life refers to the rituals and customs that are being held during the different stages of one's life.
那每个国家、每个民族、每个宗教
ethnicity and religion
生
has
命礼
its
仪
own etiquette of life rituals. The common ones include rituals relating to birth,
成年礼
coming of age, wedding, and funerals.
四大礼仪。那诞生礼、成年礼、婚嫁礼这些指的就是
So
红
birth,
色。
coming of age, rituals, wedding, so rituals relating to birth, coming of age, and weddings are all auspicious events, and of course for funeral, they're considered memorial service events.
这个今年的白色的课程真的非常丰富。
So
这里
I
我
glance at the classes that we're going to cover on the memorial service events. I think it's
禅
really
师
quite a
的
bit to
如
cover.
何为王者做功德啊，然后如何解除失
And
去王
there's quite a lot of areas that will be covered during this course. The course will be delivered by Dharma Brother Wu Zizai.
然后接下去还有那个自身的莲月上师给大
And
大
then
家
for
授，
Master Lian Yue,
其中会谈
you
到
will
临终的
be
现象，
covering about the phenomena at
现象
brink of death.
急救重病者、
How
弥
to
留
help
者
someone who is
这些都是
dying,
的
how to help someone who is very sick.
然后如
Those
何
are
化
some of
验
the
往
topics that
生
were covered during
如何使弃一切一心不乱念佛持咒
how do you stay calm,
这个
or how do you recite a
这个课程
mantra
真
at the depth beat?
太
So
好
this
了
course
所
has
以
very rich
在
contents
印尼呢，因为我本身是
Indonesia.
都是在印尼弘法，所以我谈到个
I
人经
usually
验
do
都会
the
谈到印尼。
propagation in
那印尼
Indonesia, so
民
my
族是多元化的，
experiences are
民
usually
族是多元
from
化。除
Indonesia.
了我们华裔的
So
华人以外呢，还有这个
Indonesia
爪哇
has a very
民
rich
族，还
culture.
有
We
华人
have
岛民族，
people from
很多
the
人都是
Javanese, the
这
Chinese,
个
the
信仰
Balinese,
生活中。
and
那
many
这
of
些
them are
民族
disciples of True Buddha school.
在
And
处
for
理
this
百事弘事
ethnic
的时候
groups,
呢，
when
当然
handling auspicious
要以他
events
们
and
的这个
service
传统
memorious
来
events,
如何圆融。所以，假如谈到红百事呢，那在他们而言，所以也不晓得会碰撞出什么样的火花，那就表示我们对真佛密法的升华。然后，假如碰撞出什么样的瓶颈呢，那就变成一个问题，需要我们去克服。所以假如是深入探讨这些问题，也是非常有意思的非常有意思的。再来我们来看看佛教与
so
生
the
命
next
里
slide, what is the relationship between Buddhism and etiquette of life?
佛陀在
The
佛陀
teachings
的教法与
of
生
the
活
Buddha are
相
very
关。
closely related to life,
那生活中处处有佛法，
and Buddha
我们大
Dharma
家
is
知道
everywhere
佛
in
法
our everyday
或者
life.
是仙法。那佛陀认为生命
The
是
Buddha
无常
believed
的，
that life is impermanent
生与死
and that birth
生与死乃是
and
自
death
然而然的生
are
命
natural cycles of
平常的
life.
现象。我们看这个《大涅盘经》怎么说？
For
一切
example,
诸
and as
世
stated in
间
the great
生死
Nirvana
皆
Sutra, it
归
is
宿
stated,
啊，
for all beings in the world, all births
有
will end
生
in
必有死，
death.
寿命虽无量，
Although lifespan is
交
indefinite,
费当有尽。
there will still be an
再
end.
怎么长寿的人生，也有油尽灯灭。
So no matter how long life you are, it simply means that you will still die.
夫盛必有衰，
And when a man is
和会
prosperous,
有别离。
there will also be decline.
这里指的夫是人的意思人的身体在怎么样的强盛，
So
也会
it
有一天也有会老化的一
so
天，
when one reaches prime years, and that will
然后
also
是
hard,
离开世间，
he will be invaded by disease and life
离
will be
性
consumed by
别离
death.
再接下来，壮年不久停，盛世病所侵。我们知道，每个人生下
And we all
来，
know that
婴
in
孩
one's
时代，
life,
然后
from the
到
time you're a baby
童年，然后到少年、
till early
青年，
childhood
然
to
后
you're a
中年，人
teenager,
生的时间比较长一点，
to
但是
you
痛
and
苦
until
疾
in
病
your
它也会
prime
有
life,
翻
it
篇。
will not stop.
所以
It would
呢，
not just stay there.
盛世病所侵，这个我们的色身
So your physical body
终究还是要被病魔来侵犯
will be invaded by
受病
sickness
魔来侵犯。
and
再来
diseases.
是命为死所吞，无有法长者。这个生命
So basically, it
被
means
死
that
神所吞
life
噬，
will be consumed by
无一不例外。
death.
所以这
At
个
the end of the
大
day,
盘
there
经
is no
这
exception.
段讲的
There is
非
no
常非常的
permanence. So
清楚。
this
这
the
些
great
人世间的这
Nirvana
些无常
Sutra
这
is
些
very
生老
clear
病
about
死，
how
这
life
个
is
讲得
impermanent.
非常
Everyone
的
has to go
具
through
体。
birth,
所以因此呢，佛
or
教
which
礼
sickness and
仪
death.
也涵盖
Death
了
for Buddhist
呃
etiquettes will also encompass
婚
weddings,
丧喜庆
joyous
让人们
celebrations,
在生活中
and funerals.
呃
This allow people to have some form of reliance in life.
对不起，
And
应该是这个下一页刚刚忘记了把这个
sorry, I forgot
页面把它
to
翻到下一页
flash this
我
slide
重新读这
on the
遍
great Nirvana Sutra. I'll repeat again.
经一切诸世间
Everything
生
in the
子
world,
皆归
all
死
living beings will
寿
die.
命虽无量
Although life is
交费当
indefinite,
有尽
there will still be an
夫
end.
盛必有衰
When a man is prosperous, there will also be decline. Where there is coming together, there will also be separation. One will reach his prime years, and that will halt, be invaded by diseases, and life consumed by death. There is no permanence. Therefore, these etiquettes will also encompass weddings, joyous celebrations, and funerals. This allows people to have some form of reliance in life and to experience joy, peace, and to put one's mind and body at ease. So we try
也心安理得。
to make it perfect
那王子
for
呢？
auspicious events, for memorial service event. Let we will to end it to be plan it to be as respectful as possible.
好，我们进入这个
Let's
生活中的生命礼仪介绍红事。
let's start
我们来先
with
说
auspicious
红事。
events. 红事
真佛宗在红事方面的生命礼仪呢，比如
and the true Buddha school etiquette of life refers to
剖腹
auspicious
生
events,
产
and they would include things like
等
engagement, marriage,
喜事，
C-section, relocation, business opening, and other joyous events.
动土啊、奠
There'll
基
be
啊、
other things like
上梁啊，
construction, setting up the beam,
还有乡村那个稻田播种等等，
for example,
都是喜事。那
even
这些呢，
planting
都
your
非常讲究
seedlings.
节日和仪式啊，因为要做的尽善尽美，当然是要直热
So for such events, it's important to choose the right date.
啊。那在直热方面呢，
In
吉
terms
日
of choosing the date,
12职位
it must be in accordance with what we call the 12职位, or the duty dates of the 12 Chinese zodiac signs.
那主事者
It is actually a
生肖
traditional Chinese way of
还有
identifying
主事者的
auspicious
冲
dates and
冲
time to
都
perform
是应
such
该注意的事
rituals.
情。不一样的礼仪
So
会有
one
不
way
一
to
样的
know
条
of
件。
would include the Chinese zodiac sign of the
行事的日子
principle and the negative
自然会不
energies
同
that will affect the
必
principle.
须
And
根据
different
我
rituals
们的
will
需
have
要
different criteria and
去择日
conditions for choosing the
然后
dates.
来进行。
Therefore, we must choose a date and time to hold
那
the
在
ceremony
印尼呢，
according to our needs.
会有很多
And
同
in
门啊
Indonesia,
他
there are
们
many fellow
时
disciples.
常求职的来做什么呢？就是
They will always ask for
搬
an
新家，
an
调
auspicious
迁自
date
己，
to move to
然
a
后
new
呢，
place.
再来就是开张开业
And
等等，
also
这些都是最常。
when they are starting a
我
new
记得
business.
我那时候
I
1986年皈依，然后在
remember when I took
广
refuge in
场，那时候印尼
1986,
上市还没有
and
没有
it's
还
at
没有成立，
Okwang
在广
chapter.
场当韦罗这
I
个
was
带
at
领。
the Welo.
那我
I
们
was
彼此
leading
之
the
间都很熟，
cultivation.
甚至跟同门
We
都很熟。
the committee members
所以我
were
很多
familiar with one another.
同门呢，因为很熟，
So many
有
told
开业
we
的
also
啦，新
we
开张的，
also
或者安心
familiar
的
with a
啦，
lot.
都要
We're also very close to
去参加他的那
all
个
the
仪
Dharma
式。
brothers and sisters.
那刚开始
So
呢
they
是
have
参加
different
熟，我
businesses.
们都很兴奋。那到了那边呢，都变成了什么？变成了座上客。那谁来主持这个仪式呢？那个
So when we were invited for like
在印尼呢，就是有这样的习俗。
sorry, I missed the
然
other
后呢，
part. In
要主
Indonesia,
法
there's a
什么是谁
custom.
呢？是非佛教徒。
So usually the
应该
person who
应该讲
requests
起来就是回教的长老们来做主法子，所以会来参加。
usually who is the
这个不对呀。
person who is presiding this event is usually the Muslim.
积极分子都一直在修真佛密法，怎么到了这样的节骨眼上呢？我们反而
So
是
we are all
怎么没有
true
真佛
Buddha Tantra
真佛密法来主持这个仪式
true
呢？
Buddha school disciples. How why is so when we attend such auspicious events, they are being presided by
那主要是
other faith and not true Buddha school. So for example, like opening of the new business and move.
大悲咒水。
So we came up with a
念佛以后呢，会再加上安土地真言无数遍。
we will recite the great compassionate Dharani Sutra. So later on, we have a lot of invitations to attend auspicious events, and I told them we have to use the True Buddha Tantra to recite this events. And fellow disciple asked, "Oh, do we have such? Do we have a sadhana for such auspicious events?" So that's how it came about. So we help them to, for example, in a move, we help them do boundary protection. But the most important would be you add the earth deity gods, the earth god mantra. For example, we will offer wine to the, the earth god, and also a lot of offerings, and also offerings for the shrine, offerings for the shrine. So after we are done with all the prayers, so we will partake in the offerings. So what are the important thing I want to highlight is the High King Sutra. I have instead of saying the High King Sutra for when people move houses, move to a new place, I've actually included the mantra of peace, the mantra of peaceful home. I would like to share with you this book by Grandmaster. It's book number 78, Household of Feng Shui. So the story is about. Let me share this this excerpt from Grandmaster's book collection. So it's from book number 78, Household Feng Shui. So let me share with you this chapter. So living Buddha Lianshen once visited a temple on a mountain, and upon entering the main hall, the central Buddha statue was actually inhabited by the spirit of a large python. And how could ordinary monks be able to spot that within the Buddhist statue? How would know there's a python inside? And some disciples frustrated when they saw the Buddha statue. I, however, stood motionless and recited the mantra of the peaceful home 7 times. And suddenly a strong wind blew, heavy rain poured down, and a thunderbolt struck the sky. I then called upon the divine light of the Buddha, and after that I prostrated before the Buddha. A disciple, noticing the situation, asked me, "Grandmaster, did something unusual just happen?" This is to dispel all impurities. These impurities are originally non-existent, but due to the impure thoughts of sentient beings, impurities then reside in the temple. If sentient beings have no trace of impurity, then the impurities will not exist. The disciples say, "There was a thunderous roar just now." Grandmaster said, "It took away the impurities." I said lightly and casually. In fact, when living Buddha Lianshen chanted the mantra of the peaceful home, the 4 heavenly kings and the 8 great Rajas immediately descended from the sky. The python spirit transformed into a gust of wind, tried to escape, but the 4 heavenly kings, Ravana, deployed a beautiful pagoda and captured the python spirit. This moment was the thunderous roar.
宋转轮
I
王
say
处，
to the heavenly, I say to the
四大天
heavenly
王
kings,
和八大金
the
刚
Buddha's teaching is equal
这才去了。
if one is willing to practice.
这安在陀罗尼咒，非同等闲。
If it is
若
willing,
人
if the
持善
python
持
is
咒，
willing to practice,
我
send him
就
to the
弃谢邪分，
king of
无邪分，这无一切病，无一切
Dharma will.
诸横
After
阻
this,
碍。
four heavenly kings and the eight great Vajas departed.
佛说安
So
彩陀罗尼
chanting
咒
this
经
mantra is extraordinary. In someone recites this
很
mantra,
了不起。
all impurities
那
in the
师尊念的那
will
个
be
佛说安
eliminated.
咒是
Without
佛说安彩陀罗
impurities,
尼
there
佛
will
说
be
经
no
里面
illness,
的一段
no
咒文。
accidents, and no
那后来我也
unexpected
找到了佛
accidents.
说安彩陀罗尼
So if you would like
所以
to
就
read
每次
the
去
second,
做
this is an
这
excerpt
个
from the
我
Living
都会
Buddha's Legend,
特地送
uh,
佛说安彩
book
陀罗
collection
尼
number
咒经。
78, Household Feng Shui.
师尊提到说，这些道
So
场
Grandmaster has
住持
mentioned
啦，
that
道场的
the
达官领导啦，
representatives
假如
of this
心
cultivation
不正，
venues,
没
if
有
their
正念，
mind is impure, they don't have right
心有邪念，
mindfulness,
那肯定会招来
they have
邪
evil
气邪
thoughts,
分。
it would actually
这个是很
invite
糟糕。
negative
我们
energies.
试想看，那个很多同门到寺庙啊，来到道场来礼佛，
So because we have a lot of devotees or fellow disciples who will come to the temple to pay homage to the Buddhas
那不是
and
很糟糕吗？
Bodhisattvas.
然后这里提
So
到四
can
大
you
天王，
imagine if we attract all
那
the
佛说
negative
安彩
energies
陀罗
to
尼
the
咒经里面
cultivation
呢，它
venues?
就有要求
So
到，
in the
这边
mantra
是这样
of
子写的： 大
peaceful
大众4万人聚，娑
mantra
婆
of
世界主大
peaceful
天
household.
王，四体还因四大天王等眷属系来聚会。哦，所以有四大天王，其中有四大天王，
So we will
所以
actually, when you recite this mantra, you invite the four heavenly
四大天
kings.
王一定来护持啊。那我本人呢，我个人
And
呢，
these four heavenly
是
kings will
每逢
protect
初
you.
一
And
十五都会
personally,
在坛城
every first and 15th day of the lunar
诵
month,
遍的
I will
佛说
recite
安
this
彩陀罗尼
mantra
咒。
in front of the shrine.
好，我们接下来
Let's continue.
真佛中秉
The
承
importance of
人生法
adhering
的教
to
示，
the sadhana.
更有举办
The
祈福
True Buddha
永
school
寿
upholds
永
and
寿之
follows
的
the
法事。
teachings of living with
这应该
Lianshen
是
to benefit all
最
sentient
常
beings.
见的这个弘事，
Therefore,
最典
there
型
are
的了啊。
auspicious rituals
依
and
照
sutra recitation
法
ceremonies
事仪
for
轨的程
blessing
序，
and longevity.
虔诚恭送真
In
实
accordance with
在
the
此途
procedure
中，
of the sadhana,
佛说
one
永寿
sincerely
之上的
recites the
上品，
sutra of authentic
为
Dharma
我
that
持报应
removes
正等，
hindrances
祝
and
福身
bestows
体健
blessings,
康，
and the
消除
Kistigaba
病
Bodhisattva Sutra of
啊，
prolonged
增
life
福
as
延寿，
spoken by
消
Buddha
灾
to
解
pray
厄
for
等，
good health,
永活法，
eliminate
普济众
calamities
生的
and
慈爱
sickness,
理念，
increase
来
blessings, and
安
attain
抚和
longevity.
宽慰众
This is
生
the
的心愿。
compassionate concept of benefiting all sentient beings through the teachings of Buddha, which include
好，
soothing and comforting the minds of all beings.
好，今天同事我们先讲到这里。那
So that's we
走
will
论
stop
里面除了
for
弘事，还
auspicious
有
events.
白事。
We will
好，接下
we
来
will
白
move
受
to
白
memorial
事。
service events.
在白色方面呢，
For
典礼
memorial
仪，
service
比如
events is
说
also known as
对
拜师 in
死亡的认
Chinese.
知，
There are also etiquettes.
临
For
终者的须
example,
知，
you need to have an understanding
亡
towards
者
death.
家属的认知。
What should a dying person need
哦，
to
有
know?
讲到亡
What should the
者家属
family
的认
members
知。
of the deceased need
我
to
们
be
因为上
aware
次
of?
去年呢，就曾
What
经
one
遇
needs
到
to
过这
know
样
when
的一
assisting
件
in the
事。
chanting and
有一
burial
同门，
recites. I have an
他曾
experience
经
last year.
舍
This
在
fellow
就在
disciple
印
who
度
since
当时
young
很积极的参
has
加同修
been
会法会。他的
um,
母亲呢，也是我们印尼上
cultivating
市
at
的一个
the
老理
Lei
事。
Jiangshi Day.
所以去年
And the
呢，
mother was
他
a
母亲
committee
去
was
世已
a
经应该是
committee and the temple as well.
很老了，
She was getting
也
on in
是
age
生病。
and she
那
she
这
was
朋友
sick.
呢，应该是
And
时
this
常有
fellow
参加
disciple
同
and
修
this
参
fellow
加
disciple
法会，
must
而
have
且也有
often
偶尔参加
participated
这
in the
些
group cultivation
佛
and
学
Dharma
讲座。
ceremonies
那应
and
该对百事
also
也有一
Buddhist
定的认知。
lessons.
所以
And
当
would
他
have thought
往
that
生的
he
时
would
候，应
be
该是
familiar with the etiquettes
李
for
文成
memorial
他的
service. when the mother was dying in the wee mornings one day, he called me. Leon has informed me that his mother was not well, and he told me the mother has passed on. And I told him naturally.
这个盖上这个往生被，点
Please cover her with the
答我说上次我没有准备
rebirth blanket, and also use the veg sand and
他说
and he said,
他回答我说
Master, I'm sorry, but I have none of these at home. I've not prepared any of
这
this.
种观念是错误的观念。
I was quite surprised.
当时我没有跟他多谈，然后
I didn't say much.
到了上午，那我们
And
就
in the
送
morning,
助念组去帮忙。
the assisting assistive chanting group went over to help me. He is a very diligent disciple who has been cultivating and volunteering at the temple. But I'm surprised he did not prepare any of these items that all age that all seniors should prepare. I was actually very sad when I heard that he did not prepare the blanket, the veggie pill and nectar.
安葬仪式的认识。讲到这里呢，我记得在
So you
2000
also you should also be aware of burial rituals. I think in year 2000, a committee member passed on suddenly. He's in his 60s,
他因为肚子不舒服，
and he wasn't feeling well in his stomach, and he went to the hospital, and 2 days later he passed away.
英理的上司理事，他自己打电话
So
给我
his
说呢，
Dharma
那
sister
时候已经中午了，我就赶去那个
called me
医院。
and rushed to the
我到了医院
hospital.
的时候呢，
Everyone was at
这个师
hospital.
兄他的大体已经在太平间。
The body of
那
this
太平
Dharma
间那
brother
边
was
有
already in
好
the
多的
mortuary.
这个大体，我认出
So in the
其中有
mortuary,
的
of
是他
course,
师
there were
傅的，
many
那没人在身边，
bodies.
一个人
No
都
one
没有，
was
那上
beside
次没
him.
有，那个太平间就是一个人都没有。那我既然到那边，我就
Since I was ready there.
尽我所能
I tried my best
持根本上心咒，给他做
and
助念，
recite
给他引领。
the heart mantra of
我记得
Makumara.
应该是2个小时后吧，他的师姐才
And 2 hours later,
那我就
the
问师
Dharma
姐，师姐
sister
你跑去哪里
then
了？
appeared, and I asked her,
她
"Where
说
did you go?"
那
She
时候不是
said,
上司了。他说那时候应该我只是助教。他
"At
说
the time, I was still
我
a
去
Dharma assistant."
找他的师
He
兄
said
一
he
向
went.
喜欢穿的衣服
She said she
要
went
那
to
个
look
礼
for the
拜来
favorite
要
clothes
入关
of
啊
the
我说
Dharma
这个是
brother.
要的，然后还有3个孩子，那我就问他你的大儿子呢？他说
And then
他
I said, "You have 3
殡仪馆
sons. What are they
去那
doing?"
边接
He
洽。
said the first
因为
one
那时
has
候啊
at a
手机没有现在这
funeral
么发达，没有
parlor
这么多的
to
资源，
organize
所以都
things.
要亲自到殡仪馆去那边去
So
跟他
last
们，
time we don't have
然
mobile,
后
so you
还
have to
要
go
去报馆，
personally
那
to
时
make
候就有新闻登报
arrangement.
纸。
And if you go to the
那第二个
newspaper,
孩子呢，第二个孩子
you
呢，
have
他
to
是土葬的
um,
他就去
publish
找墓
the
地，
obituary in a
那个很
newspaper.
远。
And the third son
第
went
三
to
个儿
look
子
for
呢，
a suitable
第三儿子
place
去
for the
找公平，
burial.
去超市找公平。我说师姐，这些
And
都
then
是
other
次要
went to look for
这些你可以告诉
offerings.
医院的。
I
最
told
重
there's
要
no
的
need for
你
you
们
to
快
do
点
all
来，
this. The most
师兄快
important
点
is
来，
for
快点
everyone
来，
together
帮助
here
师尊，
to help
帮
this
助这个师
Dharma
兄，
brother.
然后帮助师兄做引领，那个非常非常重要，要争取这个黄金8小时。
We have to
观念
we have to
很清楚。
be conscious about the
曾经
golden
看过这
8
件事，
hours. That's the
师兄
best
我们
time
都很
to
熟。
help
后来想
this
想也是，
Dharma brother.
因为呢，就是没有这种临终关怀的课程，他们
So at the time we didn't have any end of life lesson.
也怪了自
So
己，是应该怪我们的
we shouldn't blame her. So we should actually ask why the cultivation venue did not have classes to educate our fellow Democrat brothers and
那我们应
sisters.
该要了解面临死亡时将出现的那些现象，
So we should also
需
understand
要
the
如何
phenomena
去
of
应
death,
付死
what
亡
occur
后
at the brink of
灵
death, and
魂
how to deal
会
with
到哪里
that,
去。
and how to deal with them,
中阴
where
世
does our
界
soul go
六
when
道
we
轮
die,
回是什么？
and what is the
像
Buddha's
自杀
six
或
realms of
意外死
six realms of
亡
samsara, for
是否
example,
有
will
影响
committing
往生世
suicide
界？
or accidental deaths,
这
of
些这
where
些都是要
one
去
will
认
be
识，
reborn.
要去了
All
解，
this we
去
have
探
to
讨
know,
它。
we have to understand.
然后临终者应该明白，
The dying person
世
must
间的一切
understand that in
皆
this
有
world,
为
all phenomena will become
正如莲生活佛在
emptiness.
他的文集《静
Just
听
as
心
Living
中
Buddha
的
Lian has written in his book
所
number
说的，我们
167,
都是
Limited
赤裸裸来到人间
Laws.
的，
We came to this
也
world
将要
naked,
双手
and
空
we
空
shall
的回。
return
不
empty-handed.
管你在人间走了什么
Regardless of
途
the path you have taken in
或
this
沾
world,
上任何
or
方
you have
向的
had
努
a
力，
prestigious
最后的
reputation,
结局
the ending
都
would
是
be
一
the
样，
same.
离开了这人
When
世
you leave
间，
this world,
谢幕了。
it will be the final curtain call.
这个静听心中的序语，这本文集我印象非常深刻。好，
So I have a very deep impression
那
about this
临
book
终者
collection.
要懂得舍
A
弃
dying person must know
一
how to
切
let
万病，
go
祈
and detach
求佛
oneself
菩萨
from
接引到
everything
佛
and
佛净土。
single-mindedly pray for the Buddhas and
临
Bodhisattvas
终
to
者
guide him
要
to
懂
pure
得
land.
怎
The
么
dying
认证
person
光
must
明，
know how to recognize the light.
认证明光。若没有人
If
帮
no
忙念，
one is assisting you with the chanting and
又该
deliverance,
如何自度？
how can one
哦，
perform
所
self-deliverance?
以今年的这个红白事啊，尤其是白事课程，真的非常
So this year's class on memorial service
将会深入的带大家去探讨。
events, the contents are very, very
然后
rich.
我想
There'll be a lot
每
that you can
个
learn from.
来上线参加的，一定会
I'm very sure
呃
all the
对
students
自
who
己
attend this
接受这个
attend the
临
course
终的认知，
will have
会有得到很多的宝贵的知识，也
will
可以
have
帮助到
will get a
家
lot
里
of
的老人
knowledge
家身边的
from
身边的人。
the memorial service event classes. Not only do you help yourself, you also be
那
helping
作
family
为
and
王
friends
子的家
around
属
you.
我们也应该懂
What
得一
the
些礼仪，
family of the deceased should
失
be
去最
aware
亲
of.
爱的家人是非常的悲痛和伤心。
So losing loved ones is
但
painful
在
and
王者的
heartbreaking.
前面大闹一
However,
通，
we should
却
not
决定
cry
会
or
影响
will
了
in
王
front
者
of the
的
deceased
心性。
as it will affect the
王
mind
者
of
是
the
应该
deceased.
保持
A
宁静
dying
的心
person
性，
should maintain a calm mindset.
一心念佛，求佛加
Therefore,
持。
family members should focus on
所以
reciting
要
the
帮助
Buddha's
王者，
name and
就
to
不要
pray
在
for the
他的
blessings
面前
of the Buddha.
哭泣。
So remember, if you really want to help the
那
deceased
家属
or the
不应
dying,
该在旁
don't
边哭
cry.
泣，这样会成为王者的牵
Family members of the deceased should not
无法舍
cry
弃，
as it
反
will
而危
create
害
more
了
harm
王
than
子
good.
往生到
This
不好的
causes
境地。
this causes the
所以王
deceased
子
to
家属
become
呢，
attached and unable to
应
let
该
go
营造一
and
个
result
宁静的
being
环
reborn
境，
in an unwholesome
这
realm.
个让他
Rather,
可
family
以西
members
方
should
净
create
土
a calm
清修念念
environment,
的环境，
transform their grieving mind to
去转变
eliminate
消
their
除悲痛，
sorrows, and let the deceased
呃，
depart.
而且要为王者做出
Meanwhile, you have to help
为王者
accumulate merits
报
for the
名超
deceased
度
and
会，
to transcend, including
讲到这
registering the
里呢，
deceased for
我
burial
曾经
deliverance
经
ceremonies.
历过
I
这样
would like to
的
share that
在殡仪馆
something that I've
的
experienced
的
at
事
the
件，
funeral parlor. There's a Dharma
不
sister.
是很久以前，
It
那
was
时
a long
我
time ago.
在一个殡仪馆，
I was at
我
the
去到白
funeral
色中
parlor.
心，
We were doing the burial
家
deliverance
属我们不太
chanting
认识，
ritual.
这
We
其
don't know
中
the
一
family
位
members around. We don't know the family members well.
同门跟这个家
Just
属
only maybe
很熟，
one of the fellow
所以
disciples. We know him
他
well
就要求我们去跟他做白色中心到
and
殡仪。
requested us to help
那
with
我记得那时
the
候
burial deliverance
我
ritual
念初
chanting.
文，
Burial
念到这
deliverance
个
chanting
王者的
ritual.
名字的时候呢，
And when
突然
I
间
chant
这位
the name of the deceased,
同门啊，就是他
this
就来介绍我们这个
fellow disciple. He was a committee member. Suddenly seems to be possessed by a spirit. He shouted and screamed, and we didn't understand what happened. We were reading the scroll halfway, and it suddenly became very noisy.
跟我们沟通。他说
He was
我的
actually possessed by the disease. He was communicating that his name
那我就问
was
王子的家属，
was
他的
wrongly
名字
written.
对吗？是不是有弄错？那家属看没有弄错啊，他的名
And
字就是
family members look at the name and say, no, but it's
后来
correct.
我再想想，
Later,
会不会他
I
改名
pause
呢？
and think,
因为我
maybe
们华人就有
he
一个
had,
一个习
maybe he
啊
changed his name.
什么
You know, in Chinese, we
是
like
生病啊，也
to
改一个名啊，
change our names.
生
Like,
意
for
不好也
example,
改
if
一
you
个
are
名
sick
啊，
often or your business is no good, we like to
婚姻
change
随时
our
过
name.
来
That's a
就改一
Chinese
个名，
culture.
所以我
And
就家
even
属
when
是
you
他已经改
fail
过
to
名，我
meet
们不知道。他
a
说应该
partner,
没
you
有，
will change your name.
他不会改名的。
And family say, no,
那
we
时候
don't
我就
think
很纳闷，
he
那
changed his name.
那
So I
个
was a bit confused. So
孩
what
子
should
就
I
是在
do?
那边闹。后来我突然间
So
想到，
the fellow disciple who was
我就
possessed
重新
was
再
still
念
making
复
a
文。
lot of noise.
这
So I
次念
read the
复文的时候
scroll
呢，
again,
在他
and
的
this
名字
time
前面加上什么莲花。哎，
in
当我
front
念
of his
加
name,
上
I
莲花
added
以后，莲花某某手，
lotus, so
那
and
个团文
so.
刚刚大吵大闹，突然间就静下来了，
Suddenly,
就
the
当
spirit
作静止了，
become
然后声音也
quiet.
没有了。哦，然后这个摆设就
The entire thing
继
quieted
续
down, so
到
we
结
could
束为止。
continue with the
所
Bado
以
deliverance chanting
从一
ritual.
个这个事件，我们可以看到，
So from
但是
this
王子对
experience,
婚姻
we
非
can
常非
tell
常
that
在意。我也不懂他是不是已经
the
结婚，
disease placed a
总
lot of
之他就
emphasis
是开
of
始开这个
taking
莲
of
花的法
taken
名，
of having
因为
taken
太重要
refuge.
了，对他
So
在灵
the
界那边太
his
重要
name
了。
Lotus,
所以
it's
他想
so
尽办法，
important to him in
就
the
是
little
跟他的
world.
那个朋友像灵上身大吵大闹，
So he
还
want to
我
make
们呢
his
要的就是
point
这个
by
莲花某某的法名。
pull
哦
his
我
make
们
his
那时候
point
真的
by
是
having
懵
his
了，这个
spirit
意思
possess the
真的
body
曾
of
经经历过这
his
样的
of a
这个
fellow
事情。
Dharma brother. So this is something that I have really
好，再
experienced.
来，王子家属也必须明白，在头七到七七49天对王者
So
的
the family members of the disease must also understand the important significance of
同样
for the
我们
disease
都明白，
during the 49 days from the
749
first 7
必须
days
去
to the
争取。
7 days.
地藏经第8品
We should,
那边有说到， 在
we know the
7日
importance.
内
If you recite
如
the
果你念的
Kistigaba
时间
Sutra, you will know why it is so
望诸
important.
古庙眷属
The significance
以
of
造福
for the disease during the first
救苦
49 days.
过世
This is
后
a
数月
important
受报。
period
地藏经讲的非常
to
非常清楚
deliver
明白，
the disease.
所以
So
7第
Kistigaba, the
49天
Kistigaba
希望
Sutra is
自
very
身
clear
处
on this.
这里不错的话，我们五次
This
在
is a very crucial
第
period.
4节课讲到头七
During
的这个重要。
lesson 4, Dharma brother Uzusai will be touching on
好，
this.
好，再来。好，除此之外，
So in addition, members of
白痴的
the
助念团也要了
memorial
解
service chanting group need to understand
如
the
何引导
following:
亡灵。
how to guide the disease.
团队需要恪守
Yeah,
白痴诵经纪念的守
the
则，
group has to
在
abide
临
by the
终
code
关怀的
of
时
the
候，应
Bado
该做
deliverance
那
chanting
些仪
ritual.
式。黄金罢
What
扫
are the
时
rituals
应
to
该做
perform
什
during
么？
end of life
该
care?
如何引导
How
亡
to
灵？
guide the
而
disease
如
during
何
the
置
golden
放
8
木丸？
hours?
如何
How
点
to use the nectar
金刚
pill and
砂？
Rajasand?
白色诵经的时候，
How
要
to
我
set
们
up the
设立排场。
shrine for Bado
白
deliverance
色诵
chanting
经对亡
ritual?
者的好处。
What are the
各种
benefits
安
of
葬仪式，
Bado deliverance chanting
有
ritual
土
for the
葬、火
deceased
葬、
and
天葬、海葬的
understanding the
意
significance
义所
of
在。
the various
我
burial
们在印尼
ceremonies,
的
for
这
example,
个
earth,
很普
burial,
遍，就
cremation,
是
sky
土
burial,
葬、
sea burial. in Indonesia, earth burial and cremation are, are, are pretty common. And then somebody will cremate and do sea burial. I have a story, a little story about a sea burial, an experience which I remember very clearly about filial piety. It was in the eastern, this happened more than 10 years ago, and the eastern part of Java. And the Dharma sister called me, Master, could you please come over and help me? My mother has passed away for a couple of years, and he was cremated, and they put the ashes. They put ashes in an ancestral hall because they're a big family. But he would like to do a sea burial now. So I choose an auspicious date. I choose a date. I reach Eastern Java, and that day it was really huge family, and all relatives are here. And after the ritual, we have to rush to the seaside. And when we have completed ritual at the ancestral hall, we invite the eldest son in his 40s, 50s to carry the ashes. Tied up with a red cloth and carry it. And what happened next? This eldest son, no matter how, was not able to leave the urn where the ashes were stored. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't, the urn containing the ashes could not be lifted at all. It seems to be glued to the table. So 15 minutes later, I told Dhamma sister, oh, we can't miss the auspicious timing to the seaside. What can we do? So the elder son suddenly recalled he went to his house and tried to lift the urn with her too. Suddenly, has an idea. He asked his youngest brother to carry the urn. And he was wondering, and because he saw his eldest brother could not lift the urn at all, he used a lot of energy. He used a lot of strength to lift the urn, but he lifted it up without any problem, and he actually felt backward because he used so much strength to lift it. So why is it that the eldest son couldn't lift up the urn, but the younger son could lift the urn with such little effort? So we were thinking deeply about this question. So we headed towards the sea. We went on the boat, and in the middle of the sea, we did a sea burial ritual and scattered the ashes. And when we returned, we had a meal together. So during the meal, I asked her, why did you have the idea to ask your youngest son, the youngest son to carry the urn? Oh, so the Dharma sister shared that the mother did not have a good relationship with the eldest son. Felt that the son was not filial, but she had a very good relationship with the youngest son. So could you imagine, she's passed on for so many years, and yet she's particular about who is going to carry her urn.
这个奇奇怪怪的问题出现了。哦，
So there's a lot of strange encounters and memorial service events.
哦，时间也差不多，好，我们继续。在日常生活中需
In our
要
everyday life, etiquette and rituals are needed to maintain
维系
mutual
人与
respect
人之间的互相
and
尊重
interaction
和交
between
往，
people.
同时也是一种
It
社
is
会
a
上大
moral
家
norm
彼此
that
认
everyone
可
in
与
society
共享的
recognizes
道德规
and
范。
advocates.
所以呢，作为中国向来被
Therefore,
尊称
the
为文
Chinese
明
have
古
always
国伊
been
斯邦
known
的
as the
后裔者，
descendants of an
我
ancient
们理应学
civilized
习
nation,
及了解这
a
些红色和
nation
白色
of
的礼
a
仪，
nation of
并
etiquettes.
且切记
We
人
should
生活里的
learn
孝
and
顺。
understand the
我们
etiquettes
在
of
世
auspicious
间必
events
须
and
堂堂
memorial
正正的
service events,
忠孝
and to bear in
节
mind the
义，
teachings of
做
living
个真正
Buddha-lian. In this world,
有正念的人
a
哈。
living Buddha-lian said, in this world we
为
have to
以
live
助人，
properly, be
多
loyal
积
and
资
upright,
粮及
have
功德，
filial piety
多
and
行善业。
self-restraint, and be a righteous person.
嗯，
Be
多
willing
行
to
善业，
help
所以我们
others,
就真佛中道是
accumulate
每
more
个
merits
道
and
场敦在
abundance,
佛
and
法
do
的方
more
功德
good
力的精
deeds.
神，多行善
We
业。
need to accumulate wholesome
那我
karma,
们要说
wisdom,
的
and
前
meditative
途生存，
stability.
善业、
Once an
智慧、
opportunity
禅定、
presents
因
itself,
缘。
you will naturally see the results of your
我们有
action.
了
So
这
we
些
should
呢，自
plant
然
more seeds of blessings,
就
carry
有
out
自
all
然的结
kind
果。
deeds, and not
嗯，
to commit evil acts.
对。
By understanding the rituals in article of life, we will be able
那
to
我
carry
们
out
应
auspicious
该
events, procedures
多求福
correctly.
田。
We will also
啊，
no longer be
这
afraid
个当年佛陀
when
的
we
最
need
基
to
本的教
deal
诲，
with
除
memorial
了要
service
做
events.
众善奉
So
行，
Buddha has taught
多
that
去理解
we
生
should
命的
not
礼仪的仪式，
we should
对于红事
do more
我
kind
们
deeds
可以
and
更
not
正确
commit
地进
evil
行，对于
acts.
白事我们不再害怕
So
去
that's a
面对。
reminder from Buddha.
那各位线上的同门，今
And
天这个红白事
all
总论就讲到此为
fellow
止。不过结
disciples,
束之前呢，我有一些关于红
for all
事
fellow
的一个我个
disciples
人的一
online,
个
you
经
could
验
raise your questions.
想跟大家分享。
I would
那
like
刚刚提
to
到
share an
我们这里
experience
呢，
regarding
我时
auspicious
常
events.
带一位助教或者法师或者
I
教
will always
两个人
bring
就去到同门，他们要求给他做什么乔迁之
so I've
喜
always
啦，
been
还
invited
有
by
开张
fellow
啦、开业啦。
disciples for
假
auspicious
如是白事
events
通常我
like
们就
opening
会
of
搭上仪式
business.
就
So
是一个法
usually
会。
for
那
auspicious
个是
events, it
我
would
是在
just
晚上
be
7点
me,
然后
maybe
很
a
多同门也
reverend
会去，尤其是
and
很熟的同门家属。
some other Dhamma
那这些
propagators. So
红
it will
事
be a
呢，
smaller
我
group
们
compared
就
to
是
when we do
2、3个
memorial
人就去
service
就够
events.
了。因为这些主事者呢，通常会邀请他的家属、亲戚朋友很多，
So most
比如
of the
说开
time, the
张啦、开业
principal
啦，或者
supplicant
是
when
搬
they move house
新屋子啦，
or
这是很喜庆嘛，
open a new
说
business,
很
they
多
will
同门。
invite
这
many,
回
many
去呢，就
people
是
and
2、
many
3
Tong.
个礼拜过后呢，都会有一个庆祝的一个宴会嘛，所以我
So
们
there
也
always be a
希望这个主事
celebratory
者太
event.
因为我们太浪费了这个资源啊。
We don't want to waste his
那碰到
resource,
这样的
so
情
we
况
keep
呢，
to
这
a
个
small number when we
红事
conduct
这个刚刚讲的那
blessings
个开张开业或者等等的这些仪式呢，
for
也
opening
是
a new
我
business,
们也是很
for a
严谨
house
的
move.
一个仪轨。刚
So
刚提
there's a
到说
sadhana
有
for this as
诵
well.
佛说安宰同咒经
I mentioned
之
that there's
前
a
也是
mantra of
会
the
诵
peaceful
个
home.
祈请莲生活佛加持文
Of course, we have the
等等。
supplication
那因为要诵经，所以假如我们
text
去的主法子只有2个，那
of
这
the
个
meditation.
声量当然是很单调有时候呢搞不起那种气氛那既然是喜
So
庆嘛，
because it's an
来的
auspicious
很多还
event, we
是
need
家
to
属
build
的
an
都是中
atmosphere.
外人，
And
所以
there
我
are
们
many
就
people
这
who
里
are
就是要
also
很
known
好
to
的要
Buddha
把
school
门，这个
disciples.
佛密瓦
So
佛
it
呢
is a
都
good
是要做的很
opportunity
像
to
样
propagate the true
所
Buddha
以通常呢，
Dhamma
就会
Tantra. So most of the time,
带一个小
what I
法
do
宝
is
这个
I
太
will
活跃了
bring
MP3
a
speaker 了
I'll bring an MP3
然后通
speaker,
常呢，教授是会帮忙我操作这个，
and then
然后比
senior
如接
reverends
下
will
去
help me with
要诵
this.
佛说安宰同仁咒经呢，我
And
就会
when we
将
chant
先录
the
好的这
mantra
个经文
peaceful
呢，
home,
播
I
出
will
来。
actually
然后
pre-record
偶
the
尔我们去
sutra.
的那个主事者呢，他是开小型超市的，
If,
或
for
者类似
example,
这些，
is
那我会加念什么呢？魔力之天经
For
就是仿
example,
这些
if we
这
have
个
if business opening, you will have, like for example, we have a fellow disciple who has a small supermarket, who runs a small supermarket. I will add the Marquee Sutra.
但是呢，有一个条件，绝对的条件，就是说我们主法者一定要开口诵经，不然
So there's a condition, the principle leading the practice for this official auspicious event must recite.
对这些也不了解，可能他们会在那边会谈天啊，所以弄得那种气氛就
Must
很。
recite the sutras and mantra
所
verbally.
以呢，我就想到用这个扩音器。
So I thought about the speaker because there were many people, so that everyone can hear and also to improve the atmosphere.
研究上是越来越研究那个弄得非常非常好听，那个雷藏之音就是那种气氛，把气氛搞起来。
We want to create an atmosphere, a nice atmosphere for auspicious events. When we breathe, I will usually find the shortest sutra, like for example the Marquee Sutra. And I will use the speaker so that everyone can feel can feel the sutra better.
来亲临这个红色的那种情境。佛说魔力之天经，如是我闻应是佛家还在世为。
是阿弥陀佛，应该是没有声音哈。
是。
好，我们请大家。
We were trying to play the feel that Master LianFei will play during certain auspicious events.
我们看到现场的这个留言区呢，也有很多的提问。
So we are starting to have questions. Starting the questions in the chat. We'll have Master answer those questions later on. So this is the Marquee Sutra.
说魔力之天经，如是我闻应是佛家还在世为过去数给故土愿以大比丘中1250人及尔时佛告诸比丘有天命魔力之天常行热见比魔力之天无人能见无人能。
This is actually pre-recorded, but they will still recite verbally at the auspicious events that they are helping to recite.
声音有了吗？那边。
不可作，不为人弃光，不为人富，不为人财其财物，不为人家人得其便。我告诸比丘，若有善男子、善女人，闻是魔力之天命之应作是愿：我弟子中等之彼魔力之天命，无人能见我，无人能作我，不为人弃光，我不为人富，我不为人财，我财物不为人家人得我便得是世尊其所咒曰：大智大安迦摩斯摩迦摩斯智婆罗摩斯摩诃智婆罗摩斯安多利多罗摩娑。一心如中乎我，非心如中乎我，昼日乎我，夜中乎我， 一二言家中护我，往南中护我，济南中护我，一切处一切事护我，弟子中等说好，佛告诸比丘，若有善男子善女比丘尼有佛萨有佛于国王大臣记住人民等闻是摩利支天陀罗尼于行受持者，不为如上诸恶所害。佛告诸比丘，若有人出邪毒中受持者，若出其中，若出一中，随身而行一切诸恶，悉皆对三无敢当时，是诸比丘闻佛说说语，欢喜奉行。
啊，好，刚刚大家听到是《佛说摩利支天经》，一才讲师想请问，刚刚那个经文是从开始吗？还是中间部分才有声音？
上次好，是从头开始，但是
哦，从开始。
后半段呢就变小声了，不过大家还是
哦
听得到的。
哦，不好意思，因为我这里听到是从中间开始。不好意思，好，这个就是大概跟大家去了解一下，假如我
Just to
们在
show you to understand,
主事者的
to you to
家
understand that
中，
when we at
然
the
后中外人很多还有家属亲戚
at
朋友
the
很多，那
principal
我们只
house
发
who
了
has a
这么
lot
一
of
个
friends
人，
and
就
relatives, and
当
we
我
only
们一个
have
人在那边诵经，
two
就会
person
很单调
from the temple,
所以
it will be
通过这
quite
个扩音器呢，气氛就完全不同了。
quite
但是就是一个条件，我们
simple.
一定要发出声音
So
来诵经来
even though
传
we are
播经文。
playing a pre-recorded
那
uh,
好了，今天的
record,
这个
even though the recording is
红白
pre-recorded,
事总
we
论
must
就到此为
recite
止了。那希望接下
when
去的
we
课
must
程呢，
recite in person.
大家能
So
争取
that's
时
all
间主
for
持上
today.
线来
We
参
have
加，
quite a number of
这样的话呢，就
questions.
能更充实自己对于红白事的认知，对人对己都有好处谢谢大家。那刚刚我看到这里留言有个问题，
是阿
So
弥
we have
陀
quite a
佛，
number of
谢谢
questions.
莲上师为我们做
Oh,
出
thank you, Master
如此
LianFei,
精彩的经验分享，还有如此美妙的
for
佛
sharing
说
your
茉莉之天经
experiences
的分
and
享。
for delivering the
上师
class.
好，我们这边已经把这个问题给收集起来了，因为
We
留
have
言区里面有好多同门
we've
在
quite a
问，
number of
所以我
questions
们一
in the meeting
所以
chat.
恭请上师来做这个解
I
答。
would like Master
当
to
然，
answer
心
them.
仪的同门你也不用担心，我们现场也有配分助教来帮我们做翻译。首先，我们来看第一道题上师，我会发在这个留言区，待会我再重复多一次。好，这道
The
题
first
是
question.
也是关于辅证的
So
请
this
问
question is
上
about
师是
wedding
否认为，
blessings.
如果辅
If
证
the
的道理
disciples
有一天他们不能够生活在一起
if
了，
the disciples who have
他
received the
们
wedding
会选
blessings
择分开，
are
他们
unable to
需不需
continue
要来
living
坦
together
诚
and choose
向
to
佛菩萨
divorce,
禀告？
do they need to
哦
report this to the
好，这
Buddhas
个
and
讲到辅
Bodhisattvas in
证
front
了
of the shrine?
对，
其实我在这里呢，辅证了这么多坛呢，一切都很顺利，就是
Visualizing
没有
so many
没有
marriages
离婚
and
的，
all have
所以
been
非常
quite
我真的
smooth
没有
and
经
none
验。
have
但
gotten
是呢，
divorced.
想
I
想
don't have
既然是
experience
他
in this
们
area.
缘分到了那好聚好散嘛所以既然当初是在坛城佛菩萨
So if you
面
have
前
and
辅证
so
的，
at the
那
beginning
现在
when
他
you
们
you
假如
you
是关系
you
还好的话
solemnize the marriage in front
所以
of the
应该
shrine,
也
in
是
front of the
到坛城
Buddhas and
能够到
Bodhisattvas.
当
So
初的那个坛城是
similarly,
最好，就
you
是只
should
能到
also go to the
隔日
shrine
中
when
夜
you
的菩
originally
萨尊诸佛菩萨
took a
本心的清净
solemnization and
不对
inform the
要
Buddhas and
宣告
Bodhisattvas
两
that
教
you are parting
这组合
ways.
的将也是很好的当然这个我们就主发者就不用在场了，就他们两个人私下
Of
谈
course,
成就好了应该是这样吧
yeah.
谢
因为
谢上
他们也
师。
是因为他们两个呢也是要到这个民政厅那边去处理他们那个离婚证书，对不对？
So they also have to go to the
要
government
去的，要
office
一起
to
处理
sign some divorce papers.
是谢谢上师给出如此圆满的答案。
So thank you for such a perfect answer.
100%成功率。
So for Master LianFei, his
这样好，
marriage
我看有
solemnization is at
各位
100%
如果
success
一
rate.
个人要动手术的时候，要
Second
怎
question
么
is
样
one
会
is
比较好？
undergoing a surgery. Does one need to select an auspicious date to have this surgery? Can we leave this question for next week? I hope the student will be attending class next week.
谢谢上司。还有一个提问哈，我们先看留言区哈，因为累积了
So let's look
数位。
at the meeting chat.
对，好，我再重复刚才有一个印尼同门他问的，
So it's
就
an
是如
Indonesian
等下把他的这个给发上来
it's an
哈，
Indonesian
请上司稍等。
fellow disciple asks.
请问上司，如果在彩虹楼一站是有骨灰安置所，是否要去世79天内就要把这个骨灰
He mentioned that if he already has a place at the Rainbow Theatre Columbarium, if after his death, must he send his ashes over within 49 days?
如果已经在彩虹楼一站是有这个买了这个位，是否要在去世后49天内把它安葬进去？
就是说他往生以后要尽量在49天之内安上去，对不对？因为彩虹雷藏寺毕竟离我们很
This
远，
Rainbow Temple is very far away for us in Asia Pacific, so it's a long journey. But if we could send the ashes within the 49 days after death, of course, that would be great. But if that's not possible, there's definitely another way to do it. Just like I mentioned just now, like the Kisigaba Sutra has mentioned, during the 49 days, it's important to build as many merits as possible for the deceased. Yeah. If we can do it, that's the best. If we can't, I'm sure there's some way that
好的，谢谢上司。
we can do it.
这边上面还有一个问题哈，
So there's another
现在
question
的
as well.
火葬、
Now
花葬或者
cremation.
把骨灰撒入大海，这种合适摆
And
设
also
仪式吗？
sea burial.
白色的仪式
Is these appropriate?
仪式
Are the procedures for the memorial services appropriate for such ceremonies, for such methods of burial?
那现在我们印尼我指的是印尼殡仪馆
Yes, they are, but now I'm making reference to Indonesian funeral parlors and funeral parlors. So after the ashes have been, after the body has been cremated, it will be placed in the urn. For Indonesian, a lot of them will be cremated and then proceed for sea burial.
在那边先拜拜，然后才出海。
So we will pray to the god deity first before proceeding to the sea to scatter the ashes. So if the East Java, they will put the urn and the columbarium, but after many years later, they will scatter the ashes at sea. Sea burials are not suitable for most people because for renowned for people, but for most ordinary beings, the preference will be earth burial and or cremation.
大同小异，就是还是有所不同的地方。
Though they seem the same, there are still some small differences.
这个类似刚才上次所解答的那个问题，就是说一个普通人如果用这个海葬的话，会对洋人不利。相信刚才上次已经
Some people say that sea burial is not favorable to the family member who's to the family members who's still alive.
是公开的，请问上次有这个疑魁吗？海葬仪轨
So do we have a sadhana for the sea burial?
在出发前
Can you please share? So before you leave the funeral parlor, we have a farewell ritual. If it's earth burial, we will go to the cemetery, and for the sea burial, when we are in the middle of the sea, when we are a spot in the middle of the sea. For me, my method will be flowers which have been blessed. I will scatter it in the sea around the area in a circle, around scattered flowers around. And then when I scatter the ashes, I'll be using the Padmakumara heart mantra. And to guide the family to scatter the ashes in the sea. So we were doing sea burial. The sadhana is simpler, but we do conduct the rituals before we set out to sea.
谢谢上师分享了宝贵的经验。这
Thank
边
you
有
for
一道题，
sharing
就是
your
白色中
precious
心对
knowledge.
非真佛弟子是否跟我们
So
真佛
for
弟子一样的功德？
the
也是说他不是同门。
so if you're not a true Buddha disciple, true Buddha school disciple, if you use the sadhana, use the sadhana for the Buddha deliverance ritual chanting, will we have the same, the Buddha deliverance chanting ritual, will we have the same merits? Yes, the merits will be the same. The only difference is between having taken refuge and not having taken refuge.
是的，得到师尊的加持是最佳的认证。这边开始就是印
So
尼
of course, the best would be we have the blessings
我
from
们
the
有请
Grandmaster.
佩芬助教。这道题是莲花珊珊讲师所提出的问题，请佩芬助教帮忙翻译。
阿弥陀佛，上师，我按照那个随宪法问题去问吧。
So there's a question from the Indonesian fellow disciples. First,
已经打扫坛城，然后已经
you already cleaned the shrine and place.
修什么法或者念什么经，第一坛应该怎么样？
这个是指红色、白色还是什么？
红色。
红色，它是什么红色？
Sorry, I don't quite understand our question. So what it said, what they meant is they basically set up the shrine properly to consecrate a Buddha statue.
对。
So what is the mantra or sutra or sadhana that he should use? So to consecrate a shrine, you have to choose an auspicious day. And Grandmaster has ever said, if you're a true Buddha school disciple who's diligent, a diligent disciple, the moment you invoke the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so they will descend. Of course, if it's a new shrine, you have to do boundary protection. You have the great compassion, the running water. You must be able to use the Vajra belt to do boundary protection. In terms of invocation, you have to focus on invocation. And Grandmaster have said that as long as you do one cultivation practice, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will descend. So as long as you're a diligent practitioner, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will descend when you invoke them. When during a delivery of baby, what is the mantra that you should recite? So what is a mantra or sutra that you should recite when delivering a baby? So I remember this experience from a Dharma sister. This is a very precious experience. She has two kids. They are very young. The first was a daughter. The first is a daughter. I think when I saw her last, the daughter has just started going to school. The second was a boy. She told me, Master, when I delivered my first baby, I almost died. The experience was so painful. The delivery experience was so painful. And when the daughter was born, it was just quite difficult. She was quite difficult to raise. So when my demo brother told me that he wanted another child, she was hesitant. But demo brother said we must have a son, and in the end, she agreed. And when she was pregnant with the second child, she has the affinity to ask. She has the opportunity to meet a grandmaster, and she shared her experience on her first delivery with grandmaster. And grandmaster told her, "You should recite the Kistigaba Sutra." So she recited the Kistigaba Sutra every day until she was due for delivery. And she told me, Master, you know what? It was such a smooth delivery, just like a hand. There's no pain in the delivery. This child is so obedient. And she said that the merits from reciting the Kitsikapa Sutra is immeasurable. So all your karma creditors, whatever bad connections you have with karma creditors, are eliminated through the recitation of the Kistigama Sutra. So it can't be wrong if you recite the Kistigama Sutra. So there are a lot of questions today. We will selectively choose several questions related to the class. But for all who have raised questions, we will collect their questions and we will answer them during our next lessons. So all the questions you have asked, they will actually be covered in our later lessons. So the next question by an Indonesian. This is with regards to memorial service event. Can we? Oh, oh.
然后用其他祖先的东西放在那边，安在灵骨塔那边。
Oh, can we bring our ashes? Can we bring the ashes of our ancestor home? So it depends when he died. If he has just passed away, you can't. You can't bring it home. So let's talk about this question. Let's explore this question further when we teach the class on memorial service events.
好，谢谢上司。
谢谢佩芬主讲。那因为时间还有一些，我们
Because we still have a little bit of time. Let's look at some questions that are related to today's class. Master, there's a question. Or can we just recite can we just recite the Margi Sutra rather than can we just purely recite the Margi Sutra instead of chanting it? Master LianFei said yes. Is it because they're presiding over events, so they
真
they
的要用嘴
chant
的话也
instead of
可
just
以的。
reciting it? But you can if you want to
好，谢谢
just
上
simply
师。
recite it
这
instead of
边有
chanting.
一个同门问哈，在台
So
湾
there's
呢，当
another
然是已
question
经有
from
这个
Taiwan,
会
Lei
场
Jiangsu.
位了。
He
那
said
广
in Taiwan, Lei
往
Jiangsu
生
is
后
already
的
in
这个期间
columbarium.
刚好1年，家人都还没有把他送进去安塔。请问上师有什么方法
So
帮助这个亡者安
the
进这
disease
个
have
灵骨
passed
塔里面？
on for about 1 year, but have yet to be placed in the
那是的他已
columbarium.
经有这个塔位了，那应
So
该
if
要
it's already
想
have a
办法
space in the
让他这个
columbarium,
骨
you have to
灰
think of a
怎么
way
样安到那
to
个彩虹山寺
send
那
his
个 真的
ashes
是也是
to
有手续的问题
to
因
the
为还要经过
columbarium.
海关啊什么啊，我们也会
But
考虑到这点
sometimes with a
因为
little
长
bit of
途的飞
problem
行
because it could
那
ashes
在
could be from
这
overseas
个
and some
安
customs
塔之前
issues.
呢，他
So
这里也是
before
可
it
以跟他
install,
做
before
很多的
you
佛事的，这个摆设都可以
but
的。
before
其
you
实刚刚讲的那个749天，那个是
just
要
now I've
争取到
mentioned that within the
749天之
49
内本来是
days,
最好的。
the
然后假
importance
如
of the
错过
49
49天
days
呢，
to
1年之内还是有机会
accumulate
的
merits for
甚
the
至3
disease.
年之内都有的。因为这个王子啊，有时候他们还没有开窍，对超度根本不了解，而且他们不想去了解。碰
So
到那
sometimes even the disease
他们
themselves,
往生
they
时候
didn't
啊，
want
有债务的问题啦，有谁欠谁啦，那
they
些
still have
解决不了
attached
的，
they
那因
they
为
still
他
have
不能够通知
attachments.
家人，所以那个心结还是很挂碍，那就影响到他
and it, that
这
will
个接
affect
受超度种种那种个
him
人问题都有的。 所以我们是希望749天之内
accepting
帮他超度，但是种种原因还是不能够超度。
the
那我们接下去还是
bottle
要
deliverance
给他
chanting
做
ritual.
摆设的诵经，尽量的帮助他。
好，谢谢上师。这边有一道提问，就是请问他是土葬好还是火葬好？
Question is it earth
假如我
burial
个人
or
我是火葬好。
cremation
为什么？
better?
因为
For me
第一个
personally,
环保，
cremation is better.
第二呢也没有
First, it's
占这么多
eco-friendly.
的土地，
Second, it doesn't take up so
第
much
三
space.
呢土
Third,
葬又牵连到风水种种原因啦。
earth burial also involve
然后
feng
土
shui.
葬比火葬还要贵，
It's also more
火葬简
expensive.
单，而且火葬
Cremation
呢
is simple.
要做什么清明的什么都很
And
方便。
during like the Qingming festival, it's so
所以假
easy.
如问我，我个人
It's so
答案
convenient.
是火葬。
Personally, I prefer
好的，
cremation.
上师这边也刚才上师有提到环保的问题啊，这边有一个也
So
跟环保有
Master
关系
mentioned。about
现在
eco
呢，很多人呢就是想把这个骨灰在
eco
花园的形式，
options. So
这
there are
是
people nowadays who
合
scatter
适
their
的吗？
ashes in gardens. Do you think this is suitable?
我认为
I feel
既然
that
有火葬的仪式，
there are
有骨灰
rituals
塔，
for
为什么他
cremation. There's
不用这
columbarium.
个火葬的仪式，要撒在这个
Why do you want to scatter the
花园
ashes
啦什么？
in a garden
除非那王子有特别要求。
unless
我
the
认为
disease
假如家
had
中有那个
special
长子
requests
有
to
有
do
这
so.
个一个年长的，
And
那我
you have an
们
elderly at home.
应该要
We should
关心他以后的后事了，要问他，
we
将来
should
他
be
以后有没有
concerned
这
about
么多
how
牵挂？所以
how
这些不要
this
去
elderly
忌讳，
ones
要火葬要土葬，先
the
问他，
elderly's wishes
征
when
求他的同意。
he or she
所以
pass
假
on.
如说那个花葬，我个人是不太不太认同
I personally don't
不太认同。
approve scattering the
好
ashes
的，
in
谢
the
谢上
garden.
师。
Thank
因
you,
为时间
Master.
的关系，我们这边解
Due
答
to
最
time
后一道
constraint,
提问。
we will
大
have
家的
one
提问，大
more,
家别担
one
心，我们
last
就会
question.
收集起来或者
For those
往
whose
后的课程呢都有
questions
非
are
常
not
明确
answered,
的这
we
个
will
解
answer
答在
them
内。
in
好，
subsequent
所以
lessons.
请问上师，生产需要做这个结界吗？
请讲一次。
Master, do we need to do a
请问
boundary
生产的时候
protection
需要做这个结
when
界吗？
delivering a baby?
生产的时候 就是生 baby 的时候要做这个结节
哦，
吗？
生产，
对，
Do we
生
need to
产
do boundary
哦，
protection when delivering a
其实
baby?
呢，假如两夫妇都是真口同
Actually,
弟子，那
if both
假
coup
如
if
他的
both
师姐在身
uh
旁，那肯定呢师兄在外面
if
等，对
both
不对？
husband and wife
所以呢，
are true
我认
Buddha
为呢，能够
school
做结界是
disciples,
最好的。
I think the best if we can
最
is
好
to
懂得做
do
结界的法，
boundary protection.
做结界，因为啊，你看《地藏经》讲的清楚啊，
You,
这
because
个妇人在
Kiskava
生产
Sutra
前，
has very
那个
clearly stated
很多都来
when
哇，要
someone
看《地
is
藏经》这样子
delivering a baby,
啊，
is delivering a
所
baby,
以因为生产有血嘛， 啊，所以会有
there's
这些
blood, so it might
来倒血的啦，什么都有，
attract
所以
some
做结界是非常好的，真的，这个问的非常好，
unwholesome
然后
energies.
本身
So it's
说
best
本
that you
身
can,
这
if we
个
can
师
do
姐呢，
boundary
她要生
protection
产，假
when
如她自己
delivering a
能够做结
baby,
界会更好，
and if she
因
can
为在
do
产房
boundary
嘛，
protection
可能师
herself
兄进不到
in
里
the
面，
delivery
只能在
room,
外
that's
面
the
帮
best
她。 但
because
假如师姐本身她能够做结
the
界，
Dharma
那就
brother
更
may
好。
not be able to enter the delivery room.
好，清楚明白，谢谢上师。
Thank you,
好，今
Master.
天的这个真的是反应非常的热烈啊。那
We
也报告
have
上师，今天我们上课的学员在 Zoom 里面呢，大概有360多人，
we had about
在
268
YouTube
students
有
in
接
class
近
today.
300
On
人，
YouTube, we
而且
have
在
300
Facebook 有接近100人， 总
students.
共接近800
On
多人
Facebook,
在
we have
跟我
100.
们一同上课。
So in
谢谢
total,
上
we have like
师，谢
800
谢
people
同
who
大
joined us for
家。
class today.
好，那
Thank you,
课程的最
Master.
后呢，我们
As
先
we
来一
reach
张
the end of
大
the
合照，
class, let's
请大
take
家
a
开
group
启
photo.
您的这个
Please
镜
turn on the
头，
video
摆出最庄严的笑容。请问
and
学
put up
校助
your
教能
best
够帮我们
smile.
拍照吗？我们请后台。OK， 好，后台已经准备好了哈。好的，我们大家露出最灿烂的笑容。我们倒数10声，10、
Let's count down to 10.
9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1。阿弥陀佛，再次感谢上师，还有线上
We'd
的
like to
莲
thank
和
Master
上
LianFei
师，
again
各
and
位
Master
讲
Lian
师、
He,
助教，还有
all
教授
Dhamma
师们，各
Son,
位同门，
all
谢谢
Dhamma
你们的
Sisters,
支
in your
持。最
reverence
后
and
我们
reverence,
恭
thank you
请
for your
莲飞
support.
上师为学员们
Last, we
做
would like to invite
道
Master
别。
LianFei to say goodbye to all
好，我们祝
students.
谢谢联合上师，
Master
还有
Lian,
李烨上师、李先上师，
Master Lian,
各位
Master
上师，
Sang, Master Lian Jia,
上
and
师
all
法师讲师
masters
赐
in
教，
your
谢谢大
reverence,
家。
reverence.
那我们
Demonstrate
下
understand.
星期
Thank you,
五再
everyone.
见，阿弥陀
Let's meet
佛。
next Friday. Let's meet
好，谢谢
next
大
Friday.
家。你
Amitabha,
看，大家
everyone.
第一堂课都那么精彩
Goodbye.
了，目前已经有800多人为我们和我们一起上课，请大家再一次广传这个课程，让更多的人的受惠。800多人的意味着什么呢？就是800多个家庭，他家庭内还有无数的成员，我们尽量让他们受惠，请大家多多的分享。我们下一周再见，谢谢，阿弥陀佛。
Goodbye, everyone. See you next week.
谢谢联合上师。
阿弥陀佛，
谢谢，
阿弥陀佛，
谢
谢谢
莲
灵飞上师、灵猴上师，谢谢阿弥陀佛。
也谢谢所有的翻译员，辛苦了，
谢谢莲飞上师，
棒
谢
棒哦。
谢。
谢谢莲飞上
谢
师，
谢灵飞上师、灵
谢谢
猴
莲上师，
谢谢莲飞上师，
谢谢莲
谢
上师，
谢。
谢谢莲飞上师，
谢谢上师，谢谢上师，
谢谢
谢谢大家，谢谢，谢谢大家，
谢谢讲师
我们下周见。谢
谢
谢，
谢阿弥陀佛，
谢谢吴志在老师跟我们一起上课，谢谢雷锋教授
谢谢上师，
谢谢，
啊，
谢谢，
谢谢，谢谢，谢谢，
谢谢大家，
谢谢。
谢谢，大家早点休息
谢
哦，阿弥陀
谢
佛，
讲师助教，
谢谢，大家晚安，
晚安，晚安，
晚安，下线啦，拜拜，
拜拜。
拜拜。